The Dominion warships emerged from hyperspace like obsidian shards against the stars, their crystalline hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the EDS Hyperion, watching the tactical display with practiced calm as red dots materialized around Jupiter's orbital colonies. Most commanders would have panicked at the sight of over 300 alien vessels appearing without warning. Chen merely sipped her coffee. "Status report," she ordered, her voice carrying the weight of 20 years commanding Earth's defense fleet. Lieutenant Rodriguez's fingers danced across his console. "Dominion fleet matches intelligence estimates. They're deploying in standard invasion formation. First wave targeting our orbital defenses, second wave moving to secure groundside facilities." Chen nodded. "And our response time?" 3 minutes ahead of projections. "Admiral, Operation Sleeping Giant is fully activated." A slight smile crossed Chen's face. The Dominion, like so many alien races before them, had made the critical error of assuming humanity's technological inferiority meant they were unprepared. They couldn't have been more wrong. "Send the signal," Chen commanded. "Let's show them why you don't pick a fight with Earth." Across the solar system, humanity's true defensive capabilities revealed themselves. Asteroid bases thought to be simple mining operations transformed into heavily armed fortresses. Civilian ships shed their harmless facades, revealing military-grade weapon systems. But most importantly, the quantum entanglement network that humanity had secretly established across every colony activated, allowing for instantaneous coordination that the Dominion's faster-than-light technology couldn't match. The alien commander's transmission cut through all frequencies, their artificial translation carrying a note of smug superiority. "Humans of Sol System, I am Supreme Commander Vexthor of the Dominion Armada. Your species has been deemed too dangerous to allow continued technological advancement. Surrender now, and we will ensure your survival as a protected species under our guidance." Chen's response was simple. She keyed her own transmitter, launched the drones. From seemingly empty sections of space, millions of autonomous combat drones emerged. Each one was smaller than a fighter craft, but carried an AI core sophisticated enough to outmaneuver any organic pilot. The Dominion's first wave suddenly found themselves surrounded by a swarm of machines that moved with perfect coordination. "Interesting," Lieutenant Rodriguez noted, studying the tactical display. "They're trying to adapt their formation to counter the drones. Their ships are actually capable of faster maneuvers than we estimated." Chen nodded. "Good. That means they'll burn through their fuel reserves even faster." "Status on the Jupiter defense grid." "Online and awaiting your command, Admiral. All civilian populations have been evacuated to the subsurface shelters." The Dominion fleet pressed their attack, energy weapons lashing out at the drone swarm. Their tactical computers, designed to predict and counter conventional military responses, struggled to make sense of the chaos humanity had unleashed. Each destroyed drone simply split into smaller units, using their own destruction as a weapon by creating expanding fields of weaponized debris. "They're launching boarding parties toward Europa Station," Rodriguez reported. "Looks like they're hoping to secure a foothold in the outer system." Chen's smile widened slightly. "Right on schedule. Signal Colonel Hassan. His Marines can stop playing dead now." The Dominion boarding craft breached Europa Station's seemingly vulnerable outer hull, deploying hundreds of combat troops in heavyweight environmental suits. They moved through the darkened corridors with practiced precision, expecting to find panicked civilians or lightly armed security forces. Instead, they found empty halls reconfigured into overlapping kill zones. Marine Colonel Yusuf Hassan had spent 3 years preparing for this moment. His troops, hidden behind holographic panels and phase-shifted walls, waited until the alien forces were fully committed to their advance. Then, they struck. "All units, execute Maneuver 7. Hassan's voice was calm in every Marine's neural link. "Remember your training. These arrogant bastards think we're primitives. Let's educate them." The aliens' advanced armor meant nothing against weapons specifically designed to counter their technology. Electromagnetic pulses disrupted their suit systems, while concentrated sonic attacks penetrated their shields at precisely calculated frequencies. Hassan's Marines, using exoskeletons that made them faster and stronger than their invaders, engaged in close combat where the aliens' superior ranged weapons proved useless. Back on the Hyperion, Chen watched as the battle unfolded across the solar system. The Dominion's initial surprise attack had failed to achieve any of its objectives. Their attempts to secure strategic positions were being countered before they could even begin. Most importantly, their command and control structure was starting to show signs of strain. "Admiral," Rodriguez called out, "we're detecting quantum fluctuations in their fleet's formation. I think they're preparing to retreat and regroup." Chen shook her head. "They're too proud for that, Lieutenant. This is just their first wave. They'll have committed roughly 20% of their total force to this attack. Standard Dominion doctrine calls for committing another 30% within the next hour to reinforce any gains they've made. But they haven't made any gains," Rodriguez pointed out. "Exactly. Which means they'll have to commit even more forces to avoid losing face. Send word to all commands. Prepare for Phase 2. The real battle is about to begin." Across the solar system, humanity's forces reinforced their positions. The drone swarms reconfigured into new formations, repair units quickly replacing combat losses. On Europa Station, Colonel Hassan's Marines secured their prisoners and prepared for the next wave. In orbit around Earth, the planetary defense grid hummed with power as its quantum predictive systems calculated possible enemy attack vectors. The Dominion had started this war expecting an easy victory over a primitive species. Instead, they had walked into humanity's carefully prepared trap. As Chen watched the enemy fleet regroup for their second attack, she felt a mixture of pride and determination. Her species had spent decades preparing for this moment, knowing that eventually some alien power would underestimate them. Now it was time to show the galaxy exactly what humanity was capable of when pushed into a corner. "All commands," Chen broadcast across the quantum network. "Execute Phase 2. Let's remind the Dominion why every other alien species in known space warns their children about provoking humans." The quantum sensors aboard the EDS Hyperion detected the second Dominion wave moments before they emerged from hyperspace. This time, they'd brought their capital ships, massive crystalline structures that dwarfed even humanity's largest vessels. Supreme Commander Vexthor's voice boomed across all frequencies again, but the smugness had been replaced by barely contained rage. "Your resistance is unprecedented but futile. We have studied every spacefaring race in the galaxy. None have survived a full Dominion assault. You will be no different." Admiral Chen muted the transmission and turned to her tactical officer. "Dr. Patel, are the quantum entanglement minds in position?" Dr. Arya Patel, Earth's leading quantum physicist, nodded from her station. Her presence on the bridge wasn't standard military protocol, but this operation was anything but standard. "The QE field is stable, Admiral. The moment they commit their forces, we can isolate their fleet into manageable clusters." The Dominion fleet moved with precision, their formation spreading out to envelop humanity's defensive positions. Their energy weapons began systematically targeting the drone swarms, having adapted to their earlier tactics. But they failed to notice that the debris from destroyed drones was forming specific patterns in space. "They're so focused on our obvious defenses," Chen observed, "they haven't even questioned why we're letting them destroy so many drones. Activate the Lazarus Protocol." The debris fields suddenly came alive. What the Dominion had dismissed as battlefield wreckage transformed into a new kind of weapon. Microscopic nanobots, contained within each destroyed drone, activated in concert. They began consuming the exotic materials of the Dominion ships' hulls, using the harvested matter to replicate themselves exponentially. On Europa Station, Colonel Hassan received new orders through the quantum network. "Time to show them our ground game," he told his Marines. "Deploy the Titan units." Massive hangar doors opened in Europa's ice crust. What emerged made the Dominion troops pause in their advance. Humanoid machines, each standing 50 meters tall, rose from the surface. These weren't the simple combat drones they'd faced before. The Titans were hybrid constructs, part machine, part fat-grown organic tissue, piloted by human consciousness uploaded into quantum processors. Titan Squad, you are cleared hot. Hassan's order carried across the quantum net. Show them what post-human engineering can do. The Titans engaged the Dominion's ground forces with devastating effect. Their organic components made them resistant to energy weapons, while their mechanical systems could adapt and repair in real time. More importantly, their human pilots retained creativity and intuition that no eye could match, making their actions unpredictable to Dominion combat computers. Back in space, the battle had entered a new phase. The Dominion capital ships pressed their attack, their crystalline hulls now glowing with gathered energy. They're preparing to fire their main weapons, Rodriguez reported. Some kind of condensed plasma beam. Impact could overwhelm our conventional shields. Chen nodded calmly. Dr. Patel, activate the quantum mirrors. Patel's fingers danced across her console. Satellites that had appeared to be simple communication relays suddenly aligned themselves. As the Dominion ships fired, their plasma beams struck what appeared to be empty space, only to emerge from different points, striking their own fleet. A little gift from Einstein's nightmares, Patel explained, allowing herself a small smile. We've created localized space-time inversions. Any energy weapon fired into the field returns to its point of origin through quantum tunneling. The Dominion fleet's formation began to break. Their tactical doctrine, refined over centuries of conquest, had never encountered defenses that turned their own weapons against them. Supreme Commander Vexthor's next transmission carried an edge of desperation beneath the anger. What manner of abominations are you? These technologies violate the natural order. Chen finally responded to the alien commander. We violated the natural order the moment we decided to leave our planet, Commander. Humanity didn't spend the last century playing catch-up with the galaxy's technology. We spent it imagining ways to surpass it. The quantum entanglement mines activated, creating localized fields that cut off sections of the Dominion fleet from their command and control network. Within these isolated pockets, human ships engaged in close-range combat, using weapons that the alien sensors couldn't even detect until they struck. Admiral, Rodriguez called out, we're detecting massive energy buildups in their capital ships. I think they're preparing to deploy some kind of superweapon. As expected, Chen replied. They always resort to brute force when their tactical superiority fails. Signal all commands. Execute Operation Looking Glass. Across the solar system, hundreds of seemingly civilian satellites activated their true purpose. Together, they created a quantum field that encompassed the entire battlefield. Within this field, cause and effect became malleable. The massive energy buildup in the Dominion ships suddenly found itself without an outlet, feeding back into their own systems. Fascinating, Patel observed, studying the readings. Their weapons use artificial quantum singularities as power sources. They never considered someone might be able to manipulate the quantum field itself. The battle had reached its turning point. The Dominion fleet, its greatest weapons rendered useless, its formations broken, and its ground forces being systematically destroyed, faced a choice: retreat or be annihilated. But Supreme Commander Vexthor had one final card to play. If we cannot have victory, his transmission carried pure hatred now. We will ensure your species learns the price of defiance. All ships, initiate terminal protocol. Chen's eyes narrowed as she saw the energy readings from the Dominion fleet spike beyond all previous measurements. They're overloading their singularity cores, she realized. They're going to try to take the whole system with them. But humanity had prepared for this too. Chen opened a channel to a facility hidden in Mercury's core, where Earth's greatest technological achievement had waited for this moment. Project Prometheus is authorized, she transmitted. Show them humanity's final surprise. As the Dominion ships began to detonate, reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see which civilization's desperation would prove stronger. Project Prometheus activated with a subtlety that belied its power. Deep within Mercury's core, a machine that defied conventional physics spun to life. Decades of secret research, countless breakthroughs, and humanity's understanding of the universe's deepest mysteries had led to this moment. As the Dominion ships began their catastrophic self-destruction sequence, tendrils of golden energy emerged from seemingly nowhere, enveloping each detonating vessel in a cocoon of controlled spacitime. Containment fields holding steady, Dr. Puddle reported, her voice tight with concentration. The Prometheus engine is successfully isolating each quantum explosion. Admiral Chen watched as the golden energy fields pulled the detonating ships into artificial subspace pockets, containing what should have been system-destroying explosions into harmless light shows. Status on the remaining Dominion forces. They're not moving, Admiral Rodriguez reported. I think they're in shock. Their sensors must be telling them what's happening is impossible. The silence across all frequencies was deafening. Supreme Commander Vexthor's next transmission came not as a booming declaration, but as a whispered question. What are you? Chen's response was measured, each word carefully chosen. We are humanity, Commander. While you spent centuries perfecting known technologies, we question the foundations of physics itself. Your weapons rely on artificial quantum singularities. We learn to fold space around them. You master faster than light travel. We discovered how to step outside of space-time entirely. On Europa, Colonel Hassan's Titan units had cornered the remaining Dominion ground forces. The alien troops, witnessing their fleet's ultimate weapon being casually contained, began laying down their arms. Hassan opened a channel to the Hyperion. Ground forces are surrendering, Admiral. They're requesting asylum. Asylum. Rodriguez questioned. Why would they? His question was answered as new signals appeared on the tactical display. The rest of the Dominion fleet, the reinforcements everyone had expected, was arriving. But something was wrong. Their formations were ragged, their approach uncoordinated. A new voice cut across the command channel. This is Director Maya Santos of Project Oracle. Admiral Chen, you're going to want to hear this. Chen had wondered when Oracle would make its presence known. Hidden in a quantum computer complex beneath the Mariana Trench, the project represented humanity's mastery of artificial intelligence and predictive modeling. Go ahead, Director. The Dominion forces approaching aren't reinforcements. They're refugees. Our deep cover agents report that the Dominion Empire is collapsing. When word of their fleet's failure here reached their core worlds, every subjugated species in their territory rose up simultaneously. The tactical display showed more ships emerging from hyperspace, but these weren't Dominion vessels. Representatives from dozens of alien civilizations, all former victims or reluctant allies of the Dominion, had come to witness their oppressors' defeat. Supreme Commander Vexthor's final transmission carried the weight of a civilization's dissolution. The Dominion has stood for 10,000 years. We uplifted countless species, guided them, protected them. You enslaved them, Chen corrected. You forced every civilization to develop along paths you controlled, to use technologies you understood. Humanity chose a different path. We looked at the universe not as something to be conquered, but as something to be understood. Dr. Patel's console chimed. Admiral, we're detecting quantum fluctuations throughout the Dominion fleet. Their command and control network is disintegrating. I think their entire civilization was built on the quantum technology we just proved we could manipulate. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just defeated a Dominion fleet. They had unintentionally demonstrated that the entire basis of Dominion technological superiority was fundamentally flawed. Every species they had uplifted now realized their masters weren't invincible gods, but beings who had trapped themselves in a technological dead end. All commands. Chen broadcast across the quantum network. Execute Operation Sanctuary. Prepare to receive refugees and begin humanitarian assistance protocols. The next few hours were chaos of a different kind. Dominion ships, their crews realizing the empire they served was crumbling, began requesting permission to land. The quantum network hummed with translations as dozens of alien species established first contact with humanity, not as conquerors or victims, but as equals seeking guidance. In her private quarters later, Chen reviewed the preliminary reports with Dr. Patel and Director Santos. How many species are we looking at? 47 distinct civilizations so far, Santos replied. All of them trapped in the Dominion's technological ecosystem. They're fascinated by our innovations, particularly our approach to quantum mechanics and artificial intelligence. And the Prometheus engine? Chen asked. How many have asked about that? All of them, Patel smiled. But that's not what truly interests them. They're more amazed by how we developed it. Our scientific method, our willingness to question established principles, our integration of multiple disciplines. One ambassador said we'd shown them that true advancement comes not from perfecting old ideas, but from daring to explore new ones. Chen stood at her viewport, watching as ships from across the galaxy moved through the solar system in an impromptu peace conference. Humanity had prepared for war and found themselves midwives to a new galactic order instead. Send word to Earth Command, she ordered. Tell them to prepare for Phase 4. It seems Operation Checkmate will require more diplomats than soldiers. As she spoke, the Prometheus engine's golden energy continued to dance around the contained Dominion detonations, a testament to humanity's greatest victory, not the power to destroy, but the wisdom to contain destruction and transform it into something new. The Grand Assembly Hall, constructed within a week inside the largest O'Neill cylinder orbiting Earth, hummed with the voices of 100 species. Holographic displays showed representatives from even more civilizations attending virtually, their quantum-entangled signals allowing instantaneous participation from across the galaxy. Admiral Chen stood at the podium, her dress uniform a stark contrast to the exotic environmental suits and biosynthetic interfaces worn by the alien delegates. The Dominion's fall has left a power vacuum, she addressed the gathering. But humanity has no intention of merely replacing one empire with another. Instead, we propose something unprecedented, a true galactic cooperative. The assembly erupted in overlapping translations and discussions. From his position near the Martian delegation, Dr. James Sullivan, Earth's leading xenoanthropologist, watched the alien representatives with fascination. Each species processed the proposal differently, some with obvious excitement, others with careful calculation, and a few with clear skepticism. They're afraid, he subvocalized through his neural link to Admiral Chen. Not of us, specifically, but of change. The Dominion maintains stability through technological stagnation. We're proposing to unleash 10,000 years of suppressed innovation. Chen acknowledged this with a subtle nod, which is why we're about to show them Project Nexus. She responded privately, before addressing the assembly again. Many of you have asked how humanity developed technologies the Dominion deemed impossible. The answer is simple. We let our artificial intelligences evolve alongside us, as partners rather than tools. The chamber's central hologram activated, displaying a representation of humanity's quantum AI network. Unlike the rigid, hierarchical systems the Dominion had enforced, this was an organic, ever-shifting web of connections. At its heart pulsed a presence that made even the most advanced alien sensors struggle to comprehend. This is Nexus, Chen introduced. Not a single AI, but a collective intelligence born from the merger of millions of human and artificial minds. It doesn't control our technology. It helps us imagine new possibilities. A Karax representative, their crystalline form vibrating with emotion, spoke up. You merged your consciousness with machines. The Dominion taught that such integration leads to the death of organic thought. Dr. Sullivan stepped forward. On the contrary, Nexus enhanced our humanity. It didn't replace our creativity or intuition. It gave us new ways to express them. Through Nexus, we can share not just ideas, but experiences, emotions, and dreams across the entire human species. And now, Chen continued, we offer to share this technology with all of you, not as a completed system to be installed, but as a foundation to build upon. Each species can develop its own integration methods, its own interfaces, its own ways of expanding consciousness. The assembly hall fell silent as the implications sank in. The Prometheus engine, impressive as it was, had been just the surface of humanity's achievements. This was something far more profound, a way to break free from the technological and cultural stagnation the Dominion had enforced. Azar-Kili Elder, their bioluminescent patterns showing intense thought, raised a question. What of the Dominion survivors? Their entire civilization was built on controlling information and technology. How can they fit into this new order? Chen's response was firm but compassionate. We've already begun working with former Dominion citizens who chose to defect. Their knowledge, combined with our innovation, has led to breakthroughs neither of us could have achieved alone. As if on cue, the holographic display shifted to show a joint human-Dominion research station near Venus. Former Dominion scientists, working alongside human researchers, were already developing hybrid technologies that merged quantum singularity power with human-style space-time manipulation. But the greatest challenge, Chen continued, isn't technological. It's psychological. For millennia, the Dominion convinced the galaxy that progress must be controlled, that some knowledge was too dangerous to pursue. We reject that premise. Humanity's history is filled with dangerous discoveries, but it's how we chose to use them that mattered. Dr. Sullivan's neural link buzzed with incoming data from Nexus. The AI collective had been analyzing the reactions of every species in the assembly, predicting potential alliances and conflicts, suggesting diplomatic approaches tailored to each civilization's cultural framework. They're ready, he informed Shen through their private channel. The fear is giving way to curiosity. Even the most conservative species are running simulations of how they could adapt Nexus to their own neural structures. Chen allowed herself a small smile. This was the true victory, not defeating the Dominion in battle, but showing the galaxy a new way forward. The quantum network hummed with increasing activity as species began sharing ideas, asking questions, proposing modifications to the basic Nexus architecture. We stand at a crossroads, Chen addressed the assembly one final time. The Dominion maintained peace through restriction. We propose to maintain it through shared growth. Every species here has potential that was deliberately suppressed. Together, we can unlock it. As she spoke, the holographic display evolved, showing possible futures. Vast networks of consciousness spanning the galaxy, new forms of space travel that made current faster-than-light technology look primitive, developments that even Nexus couldn't fully predict. This is humanity's true gift to the galaxy, she concluded. Not our technology, but our willingness to leap into the unknown, to face the future not with fear, but with wonder. The assembly's response was beyond anything they had hoped for. Species that had been rivals under the Dominion began forming research partnerships. Ancient civilizations offered to share knowledge they had hidden from their former masters. A new galactic society was taking shape, built not on control, but on collaboration. And at its heart, Nexus continued to grow, incorporating new perspectives, new ways of thinking, new dreams of what might be possible when the entire galaxy thought as one while celebrating its diversity. 1 year after the Dominion's defeat, the Sol system had become unrecognizable. Massive construction projects filled Earth's orbit, each one a collaboration between multiple species. The quantum network that had once defended humanity now connected civilizations across the galaxy, carrying not just data but dreams, art, and possibilities that defied traditional physics. Admiral Chen stood in the observation dome of Harmony Station, Earth's new diplomatic hub. Below her, the planet gleamed with the lights of a civilization that had become the center of a galactic renaissance. Dr. Sullivan joined her, his neural interface glowing softly as he processed data from a dozen xenocultural exchanges simultaneously. "The last Dominion holdouts surrendered this morning," he reported. "Not to our military forces, but to their own people. The younger generation simply refused to maintain the old power structures." Chen nodded, watching as a ship of completely new design emerged from a testing facility near Mars. It was a joint project between human engineers and former Dominion scientists, combining the best of both civilizations' understanding of space-time manipulation. "How's the integration process going?" she asked, though Nexus had already provided her with detailed reports. "Better than anyone expected," Sullivan replied. "The Dominion's rigid hierarchy actually made the transition easier once it broke down. Their species had been so tightly controlled that freedom to innovate felt like a revelation. Their quantum technology, combined with our approach to AI integration, has produced advances that neither of us imagined possible." The observation dome's displays shifted, showing scenes from across the galaxy. On former Dominion worlds, massive archives of suppressed research were being opened, shared freely with any species that wanted to study them. The Prometheus engine's principles had been adapted into smaller, more efficient designs that were revolutionizing everything from planetary defense to environmental restoration. "Director Santos sent an interesting report this morning," Chen said, bringing up a holographic display. "Nexus has evolved again. The integration of alien consciousness patterns has created something entirely new." The display showed the Quantum AI network, now a galaxy-spanning web of interconnected minds. Human consciousness merged seamlessly with artificial intelligence and alien thought patterns, creating a collective intelligence that maintained individuality while achieving levels of cooperation previously thought impossible. "They're calling it the Great Synthesis," Sullivan explained. "Not a hive mind, but a harmony of diverse perspectives. Each species contributes its unique way of understanding the universe, and together we're discovering principles that the Dominion never imagined." A flash of light caught their attention. Near Jupiter, a new type of space-time aperture opened, the first successful test of truly instantaneous travel between any 2 points in space. It was based on principles discovered by combining human theoretical physics with Dominion practical experience and the intuitive understanding of spacetime held by the crystalline Carax. "Remember when they thought we were primitives?" Chen mused. "Now they're asking us to teach them how to think differently." Sullivan's neural interface pulsed as new data flowed in. The Zarkali just made a breakthrough in biosynthetic computing by applying human neural architecture to their own bioluminescent communication systems. They're already talking about applications in terraforming technology. The station's quantum sensors detected another arrival, a massive ship of obvious Dominion design, but modified with human and alien technology. It carried delegates from the newly formed Council of Free Species, coming to participate in the next phase of galactic integration. "You know what impressed them most?" Chen asked, watching the ship dock. "Not our weapons, not even the Prometheus engine. It was the fact that we prepared for centuries without becoming paranoid or aggressive. We built all these defenses, developed all this technology, but our first instinct after winning wasn't to dominate. That's because humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology," Sullivan replied. "It's our ability to imagine better possibilities. The Dominion saw the universe as something to control. We saw it as something to explore and understand." The observation dome filled with new holographic displays as Nexus shared visions of possible futures, vast Dyson swarms harnessing the energy of entire star systems, new forms of consciousness emerging from the merger of organic and artificial intelligence, technologies that could reshape planets and even stabilize dying stars. The galaxy was stagnant under the Dominion, Chen said, watching the possibilities unfold. They thought they were maintaining order, but they were stopping evolution itself. Sometimes you need chaos, controlled chaos, to grow. A notification chimed softly. The first meeting of the new Galactic Scientific Coalition was about to begin. Representatives from every known spacefaring species would gather, not to divide resources or establish territories, but to share knowledge and plan joint research projects. Shall we? Sullivan gestured toward the conference chamber. Chen took one last look at Earth below, remembering the tense moments when the Dominion fleet first appeared. They had come expecting to find primitives barely worthy of notice. Instead, they found a species that had spent centuries preparing not just to fight, but to change the very nature of civilization itself. You know, she said as they walked to the chamber, some of the alien delegates asked me why we didn't take control when we had the chance. Why we didn't use the Prometheus engine and Nexus to establish our own empire. And what did you tell them? That humanity had already seen where that path leads. We didn't want to replace the Dominion. We wanted to make sure nothing like it could ever exist again. As they entered the chamber, filled with representatives from across the galaxy, Chen reflected on how quickly everything had changed. The Dominion had ruled through fear and restriction for 10,000 years. Humanity had broken that cycle not through superior firepower, but by offering something more powerful than conquest: hope. The galaxy was entering a new age, one where cooperation replaced control, where diversity was seen as strength rather than weakness, and where the combined dreams of 1,000 species could become reality. It had taken humanity standing firm in the face of extinction to make it possible, but the result was worth every moment of preparation, every secret kept, every breakthrough achieved in silence. The future was no longer about survival. It was about thriving together.